All right, guys, Mark from Park Flowers. Today we're looking at the most powerful car that I've ever put on a review video. This is a 12S Kraton converted from an 8S. We have a really good customer. His name is Chris. He's a contractor. He's a very good customer of mine, and he's very patient. This project was a very lengthy project. I took my time with it. I didn't rush it. I wanted to make sure that this car was perfect. So essentially, this basically started out as a Kraton 8S. It's a very good car out of the box. It's the EXB version, and it's the second version of the EXB. The second version of the EXB actually has really good components in it. There's nothing wrong with it. It comes with a really good speed control. The servo is improved from the last version, and the motor is a lower KV. It doesn't overheat as much. If you put the included 32 speed pinion on it, it's absolutely beautiful on 8S. But we have a customer that likes power, and he wanted to go 12S. The only thing is 12S, anytime you put a 12S motor in any car, it wreaks havoc on the transmission, and it also really, you end up destroying the chassis and all the components start falling apart. You really don't have, you never really have a car that can handle it, except M2C comes to the rescue and they create what is called a Beefcake Ultimate Kit. And what that is, it basically transforms a Kraton 8S to be extremely durable. The first thing that we want to make note of is in the Beefcake kit, you get the strengthened chassis. It's very hard to see from here, but if you look at the stock chassis, it comes with this really, it's like a pressed metal plate. Not really the most durable. I mean, it's going to hold up for 8S, usage. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to jump it like 30, 40-foot jumps with no damage at all. But when you buy the M2C chassis, if you look in the rear of the chassis here, you have triple stacked aluminum plates here running through the rear, right in the center. It goes right through the middle of the car. It's a very high quality aluminum that M2C uses. This is definitely not going to bend or break. There's a guy, Duper Bash. He does really intense jumps. He uses all M2C chassis. He never has a problem. Anything that's usually designed in America by an American engineer is usually designed to the highest standards, and M2C is one of those companies that just designs the best stuff. But it doesn't just end there with the chassis. You have all the components on the car that are upgraded. We're going to go through all of them, but the most important is going to be the shock upgrade. And the reason is because when you're adding all this weight, when you add this Hobby Wing motor, it's a 70125. It's a 560 kV motor. It weighs 4.7 pounds. And according to ChatGPT, it's putting out 14 horsepower on 12S. So with all that weight, you're going to have to really have good suspension. Now, M2C does not disappoint in the shock area. What they do is they replace the stock shock piston at 6 millimeters. It goes to 7 millimeters, and it's a really hard steel. They change the cartridge, and they change it actually. They mill it or machine it out of a Delrin. It's a beautiful cartridge, and then the piston itself is Delrin with a rubber ring. It's much smoother than the stock shocks. It's going to be a lot more durable, and it's going to be able to handle the additional weight that this car has. Stock weight is about 26 pounds. This car is weighing in at 32 pounds all in. Running the motor that we spoke about is the Max 4 speed control. It runs up to 300 amps. It's a nice, really nice speed control. M2C makes a chassis plate. I don't know if you can see it here, but this has 4 bolts. It bolts right onto it, and it has 3 contact points, and it bolts right in over the receiver box. Now, the receiver box does have to be trimmed down for this to fit. Very simple process. And if you need any help doing that, just call me and I'll explain to you how to do that. Another nice touch on the car are the pin retainers for the front and rear. If you look at that machined aluminum right here, and the steel pin rods that go through it, the pins are going to be a much tougher and a higher quality steel. They're not going to bend. You have that in the front and the rear. It makes really for a very durable car. For the universals, if you look at them, these are called the Overkill universals. They're beautiful. They're really, really super thick. We have them on the car, on the all ends of the car, plus the center drive shaft. So all upgraded M2C steel shafts. They're going to be a lot more durable. They're not going to bend with hard use, especially in a 12S scenario. Now, I want to speak about one thing that we need to speak about. Arrma keeps releasing these cars, even the Kraton 6S, with the wrong screws for the motor mounts. Now, anytime you have a motor mount, by the way, we didn't use this one. This is a stock motor mount. A customer dropped this off to me because he couldn't get one of the screws out from the factory. They put these crappy steel mushroom head screws, and they put a very strong Loctite. Even with heating it up, some of my customers can't get it out, so they come to me to remove it. I had to use a pair of Japanese screw pliers. They're actually made for removing screws. You can buy those online. They're very good. Sometimes heat alone will not set this free, so I had to use pliers to loosen this up. I didn't show this fully removed, but it is loosened and it's ready to take out. Anyway, what I do suggest that Arrma does on all their cars is put a cap head screw, and don't make it 2.5 millimeter, make it minimum of 3. You're looking at a titanium cap head screw for the motor mount here, because like I said, there's no way that this little mushroom head is going to hold this big motor in place. Even if you Loctite it down, when you try to tighten it or loosen it, it's going to strip. So you must use, if you're going to do this, there's no other way to do it. You have to use a titanium cap head screw. On the bottom of this plate, it will not fit a cap head, so I actually had to use a stainless steel mushroom head screw, but that's for the bottom. At least you have these two really doing most of the work, and you can tighten as hard as you want because you have all that leverage there. Look at all that material. Again, it's a 3.0 millimeter cap head in titanium. Now, one of the most important things if you're setting up a 12S car like this, you have to make sure the alignment of the motor is perfect. This motor slides on 2 axes, the front and the back. This, people don't know, but this slides also. This goes back and forward. It must be dead even. You can't have any variation in the angle when the pinion is going to hit the spur gear. If it's off by even half a degree, you're going to shred your gears, and it's not going to be a good thing. So you have to make sure that it's completely 100% lined up in parallel. This is an extremely powerful motor, like we said before. If you look at the size of the motor, they call it the soda can motor. This is the stock motor next to it. I mean, the power on this thing is absolutely bonkers. We went with the 560 kV because we wanted the extra torque. And because you have so much torque on this running 12S, you're going to have to run a belted tire. And it's not a soft belted tire. It's a harder belted tire like the Lewis RC Cyclones. These have an MFT cloth that run through it. They're super, super hard. I have to tell you, out of all the tires I've tested, this is a true belted tire. When you give acceleration on a 12S car, basically you basically nail it off the line. Most cars, at least the front will balloon, even a little bit. These don't balloon at all. It just takes off like a high-speed freight train, and it never lets up. And what happens is, because you have the proper tires on a car like this, the car is going to handle properly, it's going to jump properly, and it's not going to put extra strain on your differentials. Anytime you have a ballooning tire, a lot of people don't know this, especially on 12S, you're going to put a tremendous strain on the ring and pinion and the internal differential gears. You're going to actually cause a lot of premature wear. When you don't have ballooning and the diameter of the tire is smaller, there is much less maintenance to do on your drivetrain. And we know that like a Typhon 6S, which is a buggy, it has those small, tiny wheels. It has the same transmission as a Kraton 6S, and the Kraton always has more problems. There are people coming back, blowing their differentials, where the Typhons, people are going like forever, and they're not even blowing them. It's because the tires are smaller, lighter, less rotating mass, and there's no ballooning on those tires. Where the Kraton 6S, you do have ballooning. Like I said, that is a big problem. Anyway, this car is perfectly set up to run on 12S. I set up a lot of 12S cars in the past. I took some extra, maybe 2 or 3 months with this car. I really went over every screw, every nook and cranny, and this car is going to be able to handle it. The bell crank, or I should say the steering rack on this car is also M2C. It replaces the junky, the links that come stock, the plastic ones. You would never be able to run that on 12S. We also changed the steering servo to a Power Hobby 1512 MG. If you have a Kraton, even if you're running an 8S, go and grab this servo. It's a direct fit. You don't need any modifications to the car. You basically buy this servo, you're getting another 100 ounces of torque, and you're basically getting a very, very quick transit time, much quicker than stock. When the car is on 12S or driving aggressively, this improvement in the servo is definitely a big deal. You want this servo in your car. Trust me, the 1512 MG is amazing. You don't have to buy the more powerful one. It's just going to draw more power, and you don't want to have to rely on an external battery pack. It's a pain in the ass to hook one of those up. You run this at 7.4 volts. Just leave it at 7.4. Take it up from 6 to 7.4. You get the Hobbywing programmer and dial it up, and you leave it there. Now, one of the things that make this car really incredible is the fact that the Spectrum radio and the AVC receiver work great with the gyro. The gyro is definitely needed on a 12S car. The AVC keeps this thing straight. You could also play around with the AVC on the dial here, and you could actually control how much it drifts. I have to tell you that this car is so powerful. It's a totally different experience than driving an 8S car. When you take it to the field, God forbid you're driving over grass, because the minute you touch the throttle, you're going to be painting lines in that grass, and they're going to be deep lines. You could basically write your name on a grass field at will. You can do a script, a cursive, but you'll probably go to jail or get a ticket. But you can do that. So be very careful if you take this to a grass field. In fact, don't take it to a grass field. You probably just want to go to a dirt pit. Very, very powerful. So let me just describe to you in a couple words what this feels like, because it is a unique experience. A lot of people are not going to be able to have experience a 12S car. It's just something that's rare. It's very, very expensive to get one of these set up and running the right way, something that's going to be set up for longevity. So what this feels like is you give throttle, and the first thing you notice, like on the stock 8S, you get that like slow, like whiny, like you kind of hear all the metal clinging together, and it's like sounds like an electric chainsaw, let's say on low. When you have a 12S in the car, 12S setup, you basically hit the throttle and it sounds like a high-pitched whining electric chainsaw that's like overvolted and going out of control. That's what it sounds like. You see the front tires spin at an incredible rate. The car leaps forward, and it basically charges at everything that's going towards. It's very, very fast, and it builds up velocity faster than anything you've ever seen. Now, the fact that this has the belted tires and that it's four-wheel drive and you have AVC, it actually keeps the car really, really stable. It's very, very addicting to drive this because it has the perfect slip and grip with this tire combination and the motor to give you such satisfaction. You can do high-powered slides on asphalt, on dirt, on grass, anything that you want to rip up. It is completely controllable. And let's talk about the jumping. Now, usually a car that's this heavy, I've set up cars with really big soda can motors, like the old Castle motor. I had a couple of those set up. And when you have the car, usually you see the car sagging, especially in the front. This car, you don't see that because of the M2C suspension. The pistons are different. The shock shafts are different. We played around with the oil. So the car doesn't sag in the front. And basically, it acts like a regular car. We tune the suspension so that it doesn't feel like it's lazy or it's like it wasn't designed for the car. It actually feels and performs like a 12S car should. It's one of the few instances, I'll tell you what, the Arrma platform in the 8S format, really with the M2C, only with the M2C parts, is really the only reliable 12S format you're going to get for any RC car. I hate to break the news to anybody. If you think you're going to buy, I don't want to bash any other brands out there, but there's one other brand selling a 12S car, and I've worked on it. I put motors in it. It doesn't hold up. This is going to be the only car that holds up to 12S power. It's going to be the only car that you can actually get up to spec, and it could drive like a regular car without feeling overly heavy. M2C really, their parts completely transformed this car and allowed the 12S to shine through. If you guys are interested in this, you could always reach out to me. This project does take a few months to complete. I go through the entire car. I do line tests on it. Basically, we got down to the perfect gearing for this. It's a 40-tooth pinion. We got a special pinion that has two grub screws in it. They're 2.5 millimeter instead of the 2. So they really grab onto that motor really well. It's a special pinion. I don't stock that pinion. It's not even a pinion I can get at wholesale. If anybody's interested, just call me direct and I'll help you get that pinion for your car. But I went through every aspect of this car. I replaced a lot of the screws in it that came with it. They're cheap Chinese steel, and it's very soft, especially on the 2.5 millimeter hex screws. Anything that's 3 millimeter and above was fine. I left the old screws, but anything that had, let's say 2.5, I basically replaced with all stainless. There's going to be no corrosion on those screws. They hold up a lot better and they don't strip out. I even took the screws that go into the speed control. If you look at here, I replaced them with stainless. What a beautiful car. What a great setup. What a very good experience. It's a very unique experience. It kind of makes me want to build one for myself. And I'm being very honest, 12S never appealed to me because the cars were usually just too powerful for what they were. They really wreak havoc on the drivetrain in normal circumstances. Here, because I set it up properly, it's not going to do that. A lot of people, when they go 12S, they like to do that 1-to-1 ratio to try to wring every last power out of their motor. I don't recommend that. That's not what I did here. I set up the car so that it's really, really noticeably faster than an 8S, but it's not going to overheat. And Chris is not going to have to worry about this car long term. I think it's going to hold up. Anyway, I hope he enjoys this car. It was a pleasure setting this up. This is why I love the hobby so much. We get customers that give me these projects, and it really lets me get experiences that I normally would not have if I didn't, do this for a living. I have celebrities. I have all kinds of people from all across the country and sometimes around the world call me for custom projects, and we do them. I like to be in the more like a little bit above. I would say a little bit above the performance mark, but not too much where it's going to actually hurt the car. If you run these motors too hard, the laminate and the magnets start coming loose and they start losing speed over time, and they just disintegrate. I can't tell you how many of these motors I have. I wish I brought some from work. I have a few of the speed controls and a few motors from people that did 12Ss that just ran them too hard. They're all sitting in my office, just sitting there. They gave them to me, and when I replaced them for the customer. Now, people don't listen to me when I tell people not to overgear a 12S. Of course, a lot of my customers don't listen to me, but Chris gave me the leeway to do my own work here, and this is what I think the perfect setup would be for a Kraton 12S. We used Power Hobby 6,000 milliamp batteries. We don't want to go too high in the milliamp because we're worried about the weight. This is the perfect battery for this car if you're going to do it. 6,000 milliamp, 120C. They perform very well. They have low resistance, and they fit right in the trays perfectly. All in all, like I said, one of the best experiences I've had building a custom car. This thing is absolutely ballistic. If you ever get a chance, if anybody ever tells you they have a 12S car, I recommend going to the field with them just to see what it looks like when it goes. It's like nothing else you've ever driven. Anyway, thank you so much for joining us on this great video. It's Mark from parkflyers.com. Please like, share, and subscribe, and we will see you on the next one, and have a great day.